You know, I've been in show business a long time. And I know all the big stars. Let me tell you, that Al Jolson, he was a very strange man. He would never allow himself to be seen in public with any other big, successful stars. No, he only palled around with actors who had no talent. I know. I was one of his closest friends. And you know that singing style he has of his, he found it all by accident. One night, he was having dinner before the show at Lindy's restaurant on Broadway, and he had a double order of vegetables and sour cream, which consisted of radishes, cucumbers, and onions. And that night, when he went out on stage, he sang April Showers. He got a stomachache. And he sang, though April showers may come your way. And that was just from the radishes and the cucumbers. And when the onions hit him, he fell down on one knee, stayed there, finished the song, turned out to be a sensation. You know, my best friend was Jack Benny. Now, it's a well-known fact in show business that I could always make Jack Benny laugh. But I didn't make him laugh, he made himself laugh. Like one night, he sees me at the club, and I'm not doing anything. He looks at me, starts to laugh. I said, Jack, why are you laughing? I'm not doing anything. He says, I know you're not doing anything, but you're not doing it on purpose. And it was always silly little nothing things that do it. Now here's something that made Jack hysterical. And it all started while we were at a party where a bunch of us were standing around the bar having cocktails, and we were all in dinner clothes. And I happened to notice that there was this little piece of white thread on the lapel of Jack's coat. And I says, Jack, that piece of white thread you're wearing tonight looks very smart. I said, do you mind if I borrow it? And so I took the piece of white thread from his lapel and I put it on my lapel. That was it, that was the whole thing. But that piece of business knocked Jack apart. He started laughing, he's pounding the bar, he falls on the floor, he's laughing so hard. Anyway, the next day I get a little box, I put a piece of thread in it, and I sent it over to Jack's house with a note that says, Jack, thanks for letting me borrow this last night. About an hour later, I get a call from Mary. She says, George, that piece of thread got here about an hour ago and Jack is still on the floor. She says, if he ever stops laughing, I think I'll leave him. But you know, I'm surprised that Jack never got mad at me, not even once, after all the things I would do to him. Like one time we were at a party and I glanced across the room and I happened to notice that Jack was taking a cigarette and a match out of a little box on the mantel. And so I held up my hands and in a loud voice I cried out, quiet everybody! And a hush fell over the room and all eyes turned towards me. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Benny is now about to do his famous match bit. Then all eyes turned towards Jack. And there he stands with a cigarette in one hand, a match in the other, and this bewildered expression on his face. He doesn't know what to do. So after a couple of seconds, he puts a cigarette in his mouth, he lights it. And I said, Jack, that's much better. I see you gave it a new finish. Well, that was it. The cigarette flies out of his mouth. He almost falls into the fireplace. He's laughing so hard. Now, before Jack died, he was supposed to be in the Neil Simon movie, the Sunshine Boys. But Jack knew he wasn't going to make it. And so he asked them to use me instead. And it worked. I got the part. Got an Academy Award, a whole new career for me. Now, you know, the last picture I made was 37 years ago. Making the Sunshine Boys was so exciting that I decided I'm going to make a picture every 37 years. You know, they say the hard part about acting is being able to laugh and being able to cry. But not for me. If I have to do a scene where I have to cry, I just think of my sex life. If I have to do a scene where I laugh, I just think of my sex life. You know, I must be a very good actor because this morning, after taking a shower, I looked in the mirror, I laughed, I cried at the same time. Now, there I go, tearing myself down again. Now, let me tell you, there isn't a thing I can't do now that I couldn't do when I was 18. Which gives you an idea how pathetic I was when I was 18.